Change is everywhere, now more than ever. As a planet, and almost universally as individuals, seems we're as overwhelmed by the change happening around us as we are stuck in our efforts to create something new. But how well do we even understand change? What if we're missing something? I'm Dr. Dodge Ray, but friends and clients call me Dodge, and I hope you'll think of me that way too. I'm an integrative clinical psychologist, practitioner of medical Qigong. I've helped people integrate change on physical, psychological, and spiritual levels for more than 25 years, and I have an insider secret. Change doesn't work the way you think it does. And I mean it when I say, what we don't understand about change is probably the single biggest thing between each of us and the lives we're meant for. Welcome to the Change Paradox. This is a podcast devoted to helping all of us unpack the mystery of how change really works. As much as we'd all love to believe change is a linear, intentional process, the perplexing reality is that's only half the story. It's not just an act of conscious will. The problem's more than just a question of skill or clearer goals or never giving up, no matter how many times we flog ourselves hoping it could be so simple. And, most surprising, deep change is not just about establishing control over our experience. Even those who find such control can't bend life to their will for long or for the effects they'd hoped. No, it's more humbling than any of that, and a far murkier and more mysterious process than most of us know. While deep change is absolutely possible, it's far from straightforward. Indeed, from where I sit, change is rife with paradox. What do I mean by that? Well, ultimately, that's what this podcast is here to explore, but even some examples might give you a sense of it now. In over 50,000 client hours with bright, motivated souls, experience has taught me more than books ever could about what works and what doesn't in the long run. What I keep seeing is that the path to significant change takes us almost the opposite direction dictated by the common sense playbook. It leads us toward the very feelings we most want to flee, for example, or to find power in an unexpected form of surrender. Sometimes, strangely, the slower you go, the faster you get there. Often we may finally persuade only through listening, or to discover we have to risk losing a relationship in order to keep it. And regularly, we need to find compassion for something we abhor, to find peace by welcoming chaos first, and to find relational safety only in our ultimate vulnerability. Are you following? It's not easy to define or explain, but the examples are myriad, and once you get it, you'll see this apparent paradox everywhere. With every year I get better at what I do, I grow hungrier still to understand this transcendent, sometimes maddening deeper nature of change. And not just through the lens of a psychologist, but more broadly. For all the examples I can offer, I have a feeling that this principle quietly holds true everywhere, and that there are experts across the spectrum who'd love a chance to teach us what they know. I also have a deep sense that many of you out there know that, especially now, this is the most important subject there is. I was in a conversation about exactly this with my lifelong friend Pete Wright that the Change Paradox was born. My dream with this podcast is to bring together the best and brightest change agents in the field of psychology, spirituality, social justice, integrative health, and many more, along with lay people who've experienced extraordinary change in their own lives. Like blind sages comparing notes on the elephant we all circle, I hope together we can paint a more complete picture of the change process itself and then put it to work. But I want to know these guests as people too, so we can understand the spirit behind their area of mastery. Well, Pete offered that if I were willing to have hard conversations like these, he would ride shotgun and make sure the world could hear them. Pete's a good guy like that. Honestly, he may end up being your favorite character in this whole quest. Anyway, in addition to coming with their latest and best understanding, we're asking every guest to bring with them an experiential exercise to share. Intellectual insight only starts to matter when we can work with that wisdom in our own lives. And for listeners who support the podcast with pocket change of your own, see what I did there? You'll be treated to what might be the best part. Private access to intimate conversations where Pete and I debrief afterward and talk about what we've distilled and learned that week. It's where a whole lot comes together. We also laugh a lot. So join us. You'll be glad you did. We're going to get to the bottom of this. Well, we're going to get into the middle of this for damn sure, but I have a feeling it'll only get more mysterious as we close in on that center. Subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcast. The Change Paradox will launch in September. For more information and to support this adventure, visit truestory.fm/thechangeparadox. Thanks.